Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our weekly MLB betting preview show that we do with Doug Upstone. Today is July 10th, and right now we're going to take a look at the American League East. Doug, thanks for being back with us.
Peter, I'm glad to be back once again. And the American League East, the teams at the top have not been doing so great, and conversely, neither have the teams at the bottom.
Well, the American League East, an interesting division because both Tampa Bay and Boston are the two worst teams in all of baseball in terms of ROI, both at minus 19%. Let's get to the forecast from our last call. Kind of a mixed bag, although we'll get to the AL West later on. In the AL West, you absolutely nailed. You said continue to fade Tampa Bay, which is something that, I couldn't have disagreed with at the time. But they did go 14-7 since our last video for a positive return of 21%. Very impressive. So Tampa Bay may be turning it around. You said bet against Boston on the road, and Boston did go 4-6 with a negative 13.7% ROI on the road. So that was an accurate pick, but they were also much worse at home in terms of ROI, and they were minus 46% ROI overall since our last video. So you would have been much better off just saying take Boston, fade Boston anywhere they go. All right, so let's start with the AL East. Let's start with the two worst teams again, Boston and Tampa Bay, number 29 and number 30 in the MLB money standings. But as I said, Tampa Bay in the past few weeks has actually been very profitable. So what do you make of the fortunes of those two teams?
Specifically with Tampa Bay, I think that they're going to see a reversal of fortune of what they've done. I think I'm not going to say they're going to be a horrible bet like they were early, but I do not see them as a profitable bet. They will be making, they were kind of up in the air about making a trade with David Price, but because they picked up no ground at all this week, on the leaders, I think that trade is going to happen. So I think at some point, this month, and overall they're just going to further decline. Offensively, that's the only reason they really turned it around. Their pitching really didn't get that much better. I think it's still a team that you'd look to bet against. And Boston seemingly has just given up the game here. They I think it was on Thursday night. Wednesday night, excuse me. They had 5 rookies in the starting lineup, so that just gives me an indication that they're going to, go young. I think they're going to want to sign John Lester, but beyond that, I would say that Boston will continue to be a play against team.
All right, and then let's talk about Toronto and the Yankees, two other teams that have been that have had negative returns over the past few weeks. Since our last video, Toronto has a negative 26% return, and the Yankees minus 16% since our last video. Do you think both those trends continue? My sense is that the Yankees trend almost definitely continues.
With the Yankees, I think that will continue. With Tanaka going on the DL, and there's a stronger indication that he might have some real elbow problems from throwing so many splitters this year. I think that's just going to really take away what chances that they have of making any run at the division title. And as we've said in other videos, they're a poor team in terms of the betting odds, in terms of futures. I think they're done. Then Toronto, it's hard to say with them. They're kind of up in the air a little bit. Their pitching is actually better than what it was, let's say, a month ago. Their starting pitching specifically. But their offense has gone downhill. So I think that's been a problem. And with Edwin Encarnacion at least out, for 2 weeks and quite honestly, probably closer to a month, I don't think that helps their chances much either.
All right. Interestingly, though, neither team on the year has been a particularly bad bet. Toronto is still overall plus 1.2% ROI. So they've actually still been a profitable team overall in the year. And the Yankees, for all their mediocrity, for all their sluggishness, still just minus 2.4% ROI on the year. But I'm agreeing with you. I think that in the future, the Yankees are going to have a lot of trouble staying profitable. And then the fifth team in the AL East, Baltimore, obviously been on a huge winning tear, plus 30% ROI since our last video, and they are now plus 11.3% ROI overall in the year, which is second best in baseball. Do you think that continues?
Yes, and Peter, you were the one that was on Baltimore and mentioned them a couple of weeks ago, one of our previous shows, and I actually kind of was dismissive of them. But, I like what they're doing. Their starting pitching has generally improved. Their offense has definitely improved. And, the other thing that they've done, and I give Buck Showalter, their manager, all the credit in the world. I believe since the end of May, they have only lost 2 games once, but they've had a number of 4- and 5-game winning streaks. So that's how you build momentum, and that's exactly what they've done. And I see this continuing with this team. And right now, I would say I look at them, as the favorite, going forward in this division because they're the most consistent team.
Well, now let's get to the forecast for our next video. Things we've hinted at here are, maybe continue to fade Boston. I mean, they would have to make some major improvements to get to profitability. Maybe they won't be minus 50% ROI by our next video, but hard to imagine them being profitable. Baltimore, maybe we continue to bet on them. The Yankees, I think we're in agreement. Probably they're going to be a good bet against going forward. Tampa Bay, Toronto, not exactly sure. Doug Upson, what would you recommend?
I would recommend to continue to bet against Tampa Bay. Boston looks to also be bet against material, and look at Baltimore on a consistent basis to be a play-on team.
So your official forecast: bet against Tampa Bay, bet against Boston, and bet on Baltimore.
You got it, Peter.
And you don't want to say bet against the Yanks?
Not consistently. No, not yet at this time.
Okay, so just 3 official forecasts for you. I'll make an official forecast on betting against the Yankees. I don't think they're going to be profitable. All right, thanks so much, Doug. Now let's move on to the AL Central.